Welcome to a Swipe special from the Security and Counter Terror Expo. Here's a little taste of what we'll be bringing you in the next 10 minutes. Chris tests out virtual reality training to handle attacks by terrorists. I witnessed the taking down of a drone with a former counter-terror commander. And we've got the terrifyingly weird in our games review. We've come to the largest gathering of security professionals in the UK this week. The Security and Counter Terror Expo here in London is filled with the latest technologies developed to help protect the public and property. You see, new kinds of threats are emerging all the time, so innovation is key. Here's Chris.
Tackling terrorism isn't always about who has more firepower. Today's radical groups are becoming more and more tech-savvy. We've all seen how Islamic State are using drones to help spread their propaganda. It means fighting extremism is now about who has the better gadgets. One company is developing tech that uses radio frequencies to hack drones and take them out of action.
It's a system that can automatically detect and disrupt drones, engage drones and prevent them from flying into a designated area. We turn the system on, and now it's passively listening to all the frequencies in the area. When it engages the drone, you then see the lights on the drone begin to blink yellow, which means it's engaged, and it slowly lands.
Other devices include early warning systems to detect rogue UAVs before they become a threat. The creators of this piece of kit say it's a constant battle to keep up with the latest drone tech.
We have to look at every new drone coming on the market. We even cooperate with the biggest drone manufacturers that we get drones in advance before they come to the market so that we can record the pattern. They are also doing a lot of nasty things so they can change frequencies and channels very fast. So we have to catch up with more receivers, with bigger real-time bandwidth and with better software.
Of course, using technology to fight terrorism isn't all about the battlefield itself.
Take the controller.
Virtual reality is becoming a big part of counter-terror training.
The objective of this scenario is
Am I looking for something?
You're looking for a search of the station, and you're looking to find any suspicious items. This is a real CAD model of a Barcelona metro station.
Yep.
And it's used to train police and security forces to understand how to evacuate passengers.
What are the benefits of using this instead of using kind of real people, real props and kind of real environments?
The benefits of the virtual reality is that you can replicate scenarios like explosions or marauding shooters in this environment that you couldn't actually do in a real environment.
Start evacuating!
Chris Creegan, Sky News.
This is a mobile drone detection vehicle. It can apparently sense drones and their pilots for kilometres. Now stay with us because coming up, I'll be speaking to the Met's former counter-terror commander about the threat of hobby drones. That's coming right up after a roundup of this week's tech news. Mark Zuckerberg says he's going to hire an extra 3,000 staff to tackle extremist and distressing content on Facebook. Earlier in the week, UK MPs said they want social media firms to be fined if they don't take down illegal content. Google shut down an email scam impersonating its Google Docs service. The company says that while the spam campaign accessed and used users' contact information, no other data was exposed. Scientists in Newcastle have developed a bionic hand that sees objects so it can pick them up with the right kind of grip. A camera attached to the hand takes a picture of an item, enabling the shape and size to be assessed so that a grasp can be triggered within milliseconds, apparently. And some of the UK's biggest cities have the worst 4G connections. Bournemouth was bottom of the pile in a report by Which that compared 20 cities. Middlesbrough came out on top. London managed just 16th place in the list. It puts the UK's coverage at 54th in the world, behind Estonia and Peru. Stick around for our games review in just a few minutes. We've got a game that will appeal to fans of two popular franchises. But before that, what you're looking at now is a demonstration of how a net gun could take down a drone. And I'm lucky enough to be able to get some insights from the former head of Counter Terrorism Command for the Met Police, Richard Walton, who's here with me now. Richard, that seemed a little bit basic to me. How effective is that kind of technology?
Well, there are a range of counter drone measures that in existence, and that's just one of them. Obviously, I should emphasise that most drone technology is very positive. We're going to see a lot more drones in the future. Drones are going to help with flood mitigation, with agriculture, and a range of positive uses. But we do need to be aware that there's a risk that terrorists might use drone capabilities to cause harm.
We've seen ISIS use recreational drones. We also know the Iraqi army has used them on jihadists. How much of a threat do you think they really are in the UK?
Well, we haven't seen terrorists use drones in the UK, but we just need to be aware that terrorists learn by experience. Islamic State and other terrorist groups have been using drone technology for a number of years now in various theatres like Syria, in Iraq, etc. So what can happen is those technologies then get used in other places such as the UK. So we've got to be aware that this is a real risk, and we need to have the countermeasures in place to combat it.
Let's talk about online radicalisation now. How much worse has that become since you left your post as counter-terror commander?
Well, social media has been the turbocharge on the terrorist threat. It's provided terrorists an opportunity to reach people around the world, vulnerable individuals, radicalised online, and inspire terrorist acts.
The major social media giants have been under a lot of pressure recently. They need to crack down on it. Do you think they can do more?
I think they should do a lot more, and they need to own the responsibility to deal with this problem. It's very similar to child pornography. We should not be permitting and allowing radicalised material that's illegal to be on the internet. We've got the capability, the algorithms to take most of this stuff down, and the internet service providers need to, frankly, wake up to this problem. And I believe that they need to, be encouraged, if necessary, forced to do more. You're seeing the physical caliphate from the Islamic State is being slowly defeated, but the fear is now going forward. The virtual caliphate, if you like, will continue. And if they're allowed to inspire terrorist attacks through social media and through the internet with impunity, then we're going to see more attacks that can be prevented.
Video games time now, and this week Simon has been back to the Swipe studio with a mix of the really weird and wonderful. Take a look at this.
What Remains of Edith Finch for the PS4 and PC is a video game that's not actually anything like the video games we're used to playing. You play as Edith, a girl that's going back to her family home to research her ancestry and try and find out more about her family tree. Now, the way it does this is you go around the house and you explore each of the rooms, and in each of these rooms you get some weird, crazy, atmospheric story which gives you insight into her family, but also shocks, surprises. The story continues to twist and turn. If you're more of a Call of Duty player or just like taking a gun and playing multiplayer online, you're probably not going to enjoy this. But if you like a video game to shock, surprise and offer you something different, this is next to perfect. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is a lot like, as you may expect, Dragon Quest Heroes 1. It just got a bunch of new content and a bunch of new levels in there. Now, if you don't know what Dragon Quest Heroes 1 is, it is a game that takes the Dynasty Warriors franchise and it takes the Dragon Quest franchise and it pushes them together so you get some crazy and some weird hack and slash title that's also mixed with a Japanese RPG. This is more Dynasty Warriors than it is Dragon Quest, which means the majority of your time is going to be swinging a big sword around as you take out, quite literally, hundreds and thousands of enemies. It's very easy to pick up, it's very accessible, and ultimately, it's just a lot of fun. Wilson's Heart on the Oculus Rift is like no other game you've ever played in your life. And to be honest, if it was a usual game where you just look at it through your TV screen and have a controller in your hand, I'd probably tell you it wasn't very good. But through the magic of virtual reality, it's almost incredible. You play a guy called Wilson who's been admitted to hospital to have a heart transplant, but when you wake up, not only has your heart been replaced by some weird device that gives you magic powers, but the hospital you were in is now haunted. From here, all you're asked to do is try to figure out what on earth has happened. But you don't do that by fighting ghoulies or shooting a gun. You literally just talk to people and explore. And the reason it works so well is because you've got the virtual reality helmet on your head and you're so immersed in this world, you're actually going to feel like you're there. And it's so good, you're going to call up your friends and say, man, you've got to come round and try this because I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's special, it's unique, and if you've got an Oculus Rift, I highly recommend you go and play it.
Well, that's it for this week's show, but as always, you can watch any of our episodes on demand in all the usual places. And why not follow us on Twitter @SkyNewsSwipe. Then you can stay up to date with everything we get up to throughout the week. I'll be back with more Swipe next time. I hope you can join us then. Bye-bye.